When I was 26, I told my boyfriend I'm moving to Texas to clerk for a judge. He and I lived in New York, where we bar hopped in Alphabet City, watched Shakespeare in Central Park, and took the 7 train to Flushing Meadows to watch tennis. My sister lived on the same subway line as us. I lived an idyllic life in New York. I went from that to Dallas, where I suddenly had no friends. My boyfriend Jade stayed in Manhattan. Most Sundays after staying in Saturday night with another rented Blockbuster movie, I slumped into the matinee at the Magnolia Theater alone. With my bucket of popcorn for one, I felt like a loser. My New York coworker had given me a deluxe edition Scrabble game before I moved. I loved the game, but I didn't have anyone to play with. The box contained a pamphlet, "Join the Club," and there was a 1-800 number, the National Scrabble Association. I called, and a cheerful woman informed me, "Your local Scrabble Club meets at the International House of Pancakes. They'd love to have you." IHOP off the freeway? That's nowhere near the uptown bar scene, I thought. But I imagined myself like Jennifer Lopez in the movie The Wedding Planner. Never mind that J-Lo's Scrabble mates consisted of her aging father and his friends. In real life, in Dallas, Texas, Scrabble Club would be happening. The following Tuesday, after a quick dinner, I changed into a cute top and jeans. Then I began the long drive to the IHOP on Josie Lane and LBJ Freeway. I'd never driven that far from my Dallas apartment or to such a bleak part of town. I wonder who will be there. Hopefully I can make a new girlfriend or two. I parked in an uninviting lot full of older model cars. Then I threw open the IHOP door with a huge smile and hopeful heart. The smell of stale coffee hit me, as well as the sickly sweet aroma of multi-flavored syrups. The Scrabble Club room was in the back. A motley crew of 30 people, middle-aged and older, turned to face me. The club organizer introduced himself. "Looks like you and Brad are the youngest ones here." "He's 28, said Mr. Organizer, his long, graying ponytail bobbing as he spoke. I scanned the room. Instead of standing up to meet me, Brad stayed seated. His striped t-shirt stretched across his obese frame. He offered me a head nod. I guess dreamboats and single guys in their 20s don't frequent IHOP on Tuesday nights. "As a first-timer, there's no playing fee," said Mr. Organizer. "We supply the game boards. Players rotate, and everyone plays 3 games. Games are timed with chess clocks. There's a 25-minute limit per person per game. Oh, and club members come early or stay late to eat." He handed me a 4-page document listing 2- and 3-letter words. For example, the word ah, spelled AA, means basaltic lava. "You can use this since it's your first meeting," Mr. Organizer told me, "but not next time." With this cheat sheet, I've got this nailed, I thought. My first opponent was a Vietnam vet. I don't recall his name, but he seemed kind. "I hurt my hand in the war, so I may need some help placing tiles," he said. I smiled, noticed his permanently curled fingers, and said, "No problem," thinking I'd go easy on him. "First time?" the vet asked. "We have a lot of fun." I relaxed a little. Then, with the wooden tiles shaken out of their bag and face down, it was go time. I reached for my tiles and immediately wanted to wash my hands. All the tiles were coated with IHOP syrup. like everything sticks together sticky. Trying to ignore the syrup on my fingertips, I arranged the letters on my rack. The vet went first. I expected something fun, leisurely, and thoughtful. No. Like a sniper on a mission, the vet decisively stuck his letters down, spelling frowsy. He spat out 50 and slammed the timer. Still deciding whether I should challenge his word, he spun the board toward me. "Your turn," he barked. I hemmed, hawed, and finally placed my letters to make yoke, 11 points. Then I had to lift them up one by one to see if any rested on bonus squares. I wanted a calculator. The vet stared at me with contempt. The excruciating game continued. My Scrabble strategy was a mess. My words paltry. No spelling bee zingers in my arsenal. I silently cursed myself. How do you have an English degree? I know you became a lawyer because you're bad at math, but add your points faster. You're doing okay for a first-timer, the vet muttered. 50 minutes later, we turned in our score sheets, the vet winning 335 to 121. I scooched to the next booth to meet a conservatively dressed buxom woman in her 70s. As she shook my hand, her blue hair, sprayed stiff into a French twist, didn't budge. "What's that?" she asked, pointing to my cheat sheet. "The organizer said I could use it," I replied. "That's against Scrabble rules," Mrs. Blue Hair sighed. I sensed her annoyance, but I clutched my cheat sheet tight, frantically paging through it when possible. Why am I even here, I thought. They all hate me. I should just leave. Soon, Mrs. Blue Hair was using all seven tiles in her rack at once. "Bingo," she cried out, smacking the timer. Being a Scrabble novice, I didn't know that bingo means you used all of your tiles and got 50 extra points. I began to suspect that Mrs. Blue Hair, with her jackpot of a tile rack, was a ringer. She played bingo after bingo after bingo. I wanted a bathroom break. I also wanted a drink, but IHOP coffee wasn't strong enough. Who knew I needed to bring a flask of tequila to Scrabble Club? I struggled to keep up, fighting the urge to scream mercy, M-E-R-C-Y. That would have only been 12 points. A terrible choice. Mrs. Blue Hair looked disgusted when I placed my tiles. She even rolled her eyes when I spelled house. By the time that game ended with a bigger point spread than my first round, I'd pitted out my cute top. I was a clammy mess as I plopped down on the vinyl seat to meet my third adversary, a quiet, middle-aged cat lady. "Don't let a bunch of vowels scare you," she said. "Just memorize the vowel dumps." Despite her advice, I still lost the third game. Then Mr. Organizer announced the winners and the players with the most bingos. My name was not called. After a round of applause, the regulars ordered fresh coffee and pancakes. Unable to bear any more syrup on anything, I bolted for my car. Inside the safety of my Volvo, feeling stupid and lonelier than ever, I broke down and wept. Full-on sobbing. Why'd I think I'd be good enough to play in Scrabble Club? I can't make any friends here. I'm gonna be in Dallas alone forever. Jade's never moving here. Long distance is so stupid. I never wanted to go back to Scrabble Club. But I did join a tennis team with women my own age who went for beers after practice. I pushed myself to make friends with the other law clerks. One night, I had a few over. With the encouragement of some Bacardi rum, I pulled out my deluxe Scrabble game. Everyone laughed at my Scrabble Club nightmare, but they were grateful when I said timers were banned. I beamed while shaking the letter tiles in their clean velvet bag. They jangled loose and free. Far from any syrup. Nothing was stuck anymore.